Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we will dissect the tragic, cyclical warfare at Forrester Creations as Carter issues a dire warning to Ridge and Steffi, and Hope reaches a psychological breaking point that could shatter her family's legacy forever. There is a specific haunting quality to the lighting in the Forrester Creations CEO office, a perpetual, heavy twilight that seems to trap the characters in amber. Before anyone even spoke a word in today's episode, I found myself staring at the shadows, stretching across that massive oppressive desk. It is a piece of furniture that has seen decades of betrayal, tears, and hollow victories, yet it remains completely unchanged. I sat on my couch, the faint glow of the television illuminating my living room, and felt a profound, almost suffocating wave of melancholy wash over me. I looked at Steffi and Ridge, standing there with their arms crossed in a familiar defensive posture, and I realized, with a sudden, sharp ache, just how long I have been watching this exact same scene play out. Let us be honest about what we just watched. We are not merely observing a business dispute over a fashion line. We are witnessing a deeply ingrained pathology. The passage of time is a terrifying concept when you apply it to daytime television. I have aged. My real life has fractured, healed, and transformed in countless, unimaginable ways since I first started watching these characters. I have moved homes, lost loved ones, and changed my entire worldview. Yet, Ridge Forrester is still having the exact same argument in the exact same room about the exact same women. It is a surreal, existential grief to realize you are outgrowing a piece of media that absolutely refuses to outgrow you. You stare at the screen, a glass of wine in hand at 3 a.m, and you wonder why you still care about people who are fundamentally incapable of emotional evolution. Into this mausoleum of arrested development steps Carter Walton. Carter is perhaps the most tragic figure on this canvas, primarily because he appears to be the only person cursed with the burden of a long-term memory. When he walked into that office to issue his warning to Steffi and Ridge, you could see the sheer exhaustion radiating from his posture. He is not just a chief operating officer, he is the weary Greek chorus of Forrester Creations, forced to constantly warn the tragic heroes of their impending doom, knowing full well they will never listen. Carter has been around the block and his mind immediately drifted back to the dark days of mid-November 2024. I find myself wondering if anyone else feels this strange ache when Carter speaks. He remembers the hostile takeover, he remembers tricking Ridge and Steffi, orchestrating a massive corporate coup alongside Hope because he felt profoundly disregarded. He took control and installed himself at the helm of the fashion house because the co-CEOs had marginalized his ideas and fired the woman he was dating. Carter knows the bitter, corrosive taste of being undervalued. He knows what it does to a person's soul when their life's work is casually swatted away by the sheer arrogance of the Forrester name. And now as he watches Steffi and Ridge put the Hope for the Future launch on an indefinite hold, the alarm bells in his mind are deafening. He is trying to save them from themselves, cautioning them about the dangerous price of marginalizing Hope again. But they look at him with blank, uncomprehending eyes. They are doomed to repeat their history because they refuse to acknowledge it. The psychology of Steffi and Ridge in this moment is nothing short of a horror story. They are not making rational business decisions. They are acting out a generational trauma response. Steffi's refusal to give Hope a firm launch date is not about logistics, it is about control. It is about keeping a Logan in her place. Steffi is terrified of the chaos that Hope represents, so she wields her executive power like a blunt instrument, suffocating the very creativity the company relies on. Ridge, as always, stands by in a state of passive, hypocritical authority. He enables the cruelty under the guise of corporate strategy. They are a Sisyphean nightmare, forever pushing the boulder of their own resentment up a hill, only to let it crush whoever happens to be standing below. The voyeuristic thrill we get from watching them tear each other apart is deeply unsettling. I felt it today. I felt that familiar toxic pull. When the scene shifted to Hope returning home to Brooke, the visual contrast was jarring. The Logan mansion, with its softer lighting and illusion of maternal safety, is just another kind of prison. Hope walked through those doors carrying the immense crushing weight of her own inadequacy. She was furious. Yes, but beneath the anger was a shattered, exhausted little girl who just wants to be seen. The cognitive dissonance of watching this is staggering. I confess, I felt genuinely moved by Hope's tears today. I felt a lump form in my throat. Even though the rational part of my brain knows I am being emotionally manipulated by a team of writers who simply need to fill 18 minutes of airtime before the next commercial break. Hope looked at her mother and made a stunning admission. I want to stay, but I don't know how much longer I can take this, she said, her voice trembling with the weight of 1,000 unspoken defeats. Steffi, she's really making things unbearable. Those words, those simple, devastating words, are the ultimate thesis of Hope's existence. She wants to stay. She wants to belong to the Forrester legacy, to be validated by the very people who have spent decades trying to erase her. It is a textbook definition of a trauma bond. Hope cannot leave her abusers because her entire identity is wrapped up in surviving them. And then, in a moment of desperate projection, Hope told her mother that Brooke should be the co-CEO, not Steffi. It dawned on me today that Hope is not just fighting her own battles. She is trying to retroactively win her mother's wars. She looks at Brooke and sees the ultimate victim of Forrester arrogance, and she thinks that by placing Brooke on the throne, she can somehow heal the generational wounds that have defined their family. It is a beautiful, deeply flawed, and utterly tragic fantasy. Brooke, of course, was immediately concerned. She asked her daughter what she was trying to say, her maternal instincts finally registering the sheer magnitude of Hope's despair. This brings us to the profound philosophical tangent that this show so often accidentally triggers. What does it mean to inherit an identity? Are we simply the echoes of our parents' worst mistakes? I watched Hope standing there, and my mind drifted to the Forrester Mansion pool, a body of water that has seen more accidental drownings, dramatic reveals, and tearful goodbyes than any real-world location should ever bear. I thought about the nature of grief and how these characters never actually mourn their losses. They simply weaponize them. They use their pain as currency to buy another month of relevance. We watch them marry, divorce, and betray each other in a relentless cyclical loop, searching for a permanent state of happiness that the universe and the genre expressly forbids. But I suppose I am asking too much from a daytime drama. I am asking for psychological closure in a world that requires perpetual open wounds to survive. The most agonizing part of Hope's breakdown is a secret she is holding back. Will she tell Brooke that Katie Logan Spencer has made her a lucrative offer? Will she admit that she is seriously thinking about jumping ship and joining the Logan fashion house? The temptation must be absolute agony for her. Katie is offering her a lifeline, a chance to step out of the Forrester shadow and build something where she is intrinsically valued. But to leave Forrester Creations is to admit defeat. It is to accept that Steffi has won, that the legacy she has poured her soul into will never truly be hers. Katie's role in this pathology is equally fascinating. By offering Hope a place at Logan Fashion, Katie is not just making a business move, she's actively engaging in the family warfare. She knows exactly how much it will destroy the Forresters to lose. Hope, and she knows how much it will fracture Brooke's delicate peace. The Logan Fashion House is becoming a mirror image of Forrester Creations, another corporate battleground built on the shifting sands of familial resentment. Hope is standing on the precipice of a massive cliff, staring down into the abyss of the unknown. Steffi is the one pushing her, but Katie is the one waiting at the bottom with a net made of strings that will surely tangle Hope up all over again. And what of Carter? His warning will undoubtedly fall on deaf ears. Like Cassandra of Troy, he is cursed to see the future and doomed to be ignored. Steffi and Ridge will brush off his concerns, blinded by their own hubris. They will continue to marginalize, Hope convinced that she is too weak, too dependent, and too intrinsically Logan to ever actually walk away. They are playing a dangerous game of emotional chicken, completely unaware that Hope's brakes have finally given out. I find myself staring at the television long after the credits have rolled, the silence of my living room pressing in on me. I am exhausted by these people, yet I am bound to them. We are all complicit in this voyeuristic tragedy. We watch because their inability to grow makes our own messy painful, and terrifying human evolution feel a little more bearable. We watch because there is a strange comfort in knowing that no matter how much the real world spins out of control, Steffi Forrester will always be arrogant, Brooke Logan will always be concerned, and Hope will always be crying out for a validation she will never receive. The storm is coming to Forrester Creations. The launch date is on hold, the battle lines are drawn, and the ghosts of November 2024 are rattling their chains in the CEO office. Hope is finally realizing that the only way to win a rigged game is to stop playing. Whether she has the actual strength to walk out the door and into Katie's waiting arms remains to be seen. But as the screen fades to black, leaving only my own reflection staring back at me, I cannot help but feel a profound sense of pity for all of them. They are trapped forever in a beautiful, gilded cage of their own making. And heaven, help me, I will be right here tomorrow to watch them rattle the bars.